Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got something truly fascinating to unpack today. We're going to dive into the intricate world of ancient Buddhist texts, but we're doing it through a totally unique, modern framework designed by teacher Lin Ming Shang. You know, teacher Lin has this incredible knack for taking massive, esoteric concepts straight from the sutras and grounding them in pure logic, historical case studies, and some really brilliant modern analogies. So our whole focus today is going to be strictly on exploring the explanations and interpretations found in Teacher Lin's lecture notes, looking at exactly how he synthesizes these vast teachings into a highly practical guide for everyday life. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Teacher Lin uses this brilliant, highly relatable technological metaphor. He basically asks, when you go online, you type in a specific URL to get to a specific destination, right? You don't just mash the keyboard and hope for the best. Well, according to Teacher Lin, the spiritual world works exactly the same way. The specific name of the Buddha or Bodhisattva that you chant is literally your spiritual URL. Different URLs lead to entirely different servers, offering entirely different cosmic benefits. To help us map all this out, we're going to act like a web browser today and explore four main destinations. First up is Ksitigarbha and the idea of overcoming deep time. Second, we'll look at the medicine Buddha and practical healing. Third is Amitabha, acting as the final defense. And finally, we'll wrap up by looking at how to choose your unique path based on Teacher Lin's synthesis.
So, starting off with Section 1, Ksitigarbha and overcoming deep time.
If you decide to input the Ksitigarbha URL, Teacher Lin's notes explain that you're accessing a path designed to clear just incomprehensible amounts of karmic debt. Specifically, the sutra states that sincerely connecting with Ksitigarbha's name clears sins accumulated over 30 eons. Now, I know that sounds like some kind of abstract mythology, but Teacher Lin actually breaks down the exact cosmic math for us. Now, what's really interesting about these numbers is how Teacher Lin translates ancient cosmology into hard, relatable math. A small eon is the time it takes for human lifespans to decrease from 84,000 years all the way down to just 10 and then back up again. That takes roughly 16.79 million Earth years. 20 of those make up a medium eon, and 4 medium eons, which represents a world's entire life cycle from its formation to complete void, makes up one single large eon. To put that into perspective, that is approximately 1.34 billion years. So clearing 30 eons, that is a profound, mind-bending reset button for your soul on a multi-billion-year scale. It's just staggering. Okay, moving right along to Section 2, Medicine Buddha and Practical Healing. Shifting gears from vast cosmic time to immediate practical relief, Teacher Lin explains that the Medicine Buddha URL connects directly to 12 foundational vows that are entirely focused on earthly benefits. It basically acts as a safeguard against the daily hardships we all face in life. His notes detail some absolutely fascinating phenomena. For instance, individuals literally curing themselves of stubborn physical ailments like chronic rhinitis simply by praying to the Medicine Buddha with a glass of water and reciting the mantra. He also highlights intense protections, like being kept safe from physical disasters or unnatural deaths, and even stopping non-human spiritual interference, situations where a person just feels their vitality being drained away. And crucially, at the very end of life, the promise here is an escort by 8 great bodhisattvas. What makes Teacher Lin's approach so incredibly compelling here is how he bridges antiquity and today. Ancient records show stories like the Song Dynasty official Wang Tong, who survived a capsized boat, perfectly fulfilling that promise of avoiding an unnatural death. But fast forward to modern times, and Lin shares a story of a contemporary Taiwanese woman who practiced this exact path. At her deathbed, she actually reported seeing exactly 8 bodhisattvas arriving to escort her, flawlessly matching what the ancient sutra promised. Teacher Lin uses this to objectively show us that this spiritual server functions consistently, bridging the gap across centuries.
Which brings us to Section 3, Amitabha, and what he calls the final defense.
Our third, and honestly probably the most dramatic URL, is Amitabha. This path promises the clearing of 80 billion eons of sins, acting as the ultimate spiritual safety net. To really vividly illustrate the power of this specific path, Teacher Lin shares a thrilling, almost documentary-style account from 2018 in Hunan, China. A woman named Zhu Yushan was on her deathbed, and monks actually guided her to drop all her mixed spiritual practices and focus entirely on Amitabha's unconditional salvation. Right at minute 0, she passed away peacefully. But 42 minutes later, she miraculously revived. For a full 20 minutes, she sat right up, And not like a frail sick person, but with immense energy, leading the stunned crowd in chanting and even correcting their pace. Finally, at minute 65, she announced the Buddha's lotus had arrived for her, and she passed away for the final time. Later, her cremated remains actually yielded colorful relics, which is traditionally a huge sign of spiritual achievement. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world conviction Teacher Lin wants to highlight for us. Just listen to this striking statement from Zhu Yushan during those 20 minutes she revived. She said, "I have already been to the Pure Land. The lotuses there are as big as wheels. I came back to show proof." This gripping return serves as an incredibly powerful, documented, concluding narrative to demonstrate that the Amitabha Ural delivers exactly what is promised. No way around it. That is just an amazing story.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4, Choosing Your Unique Path and Teacher Lin's Synthesis.
So the crucial point is we've explored 3 incredible URLs with completely distinct benefits. So how do we actually make sense of this whole spiritual internet? Well, Teacher Lin reflects deeply on his own choice, stating, "Chanting the Buddha's name is my last line of defense in this life. This one reveals the mysteries of thousands of sutras." Lin totally admits that he used to have a pretty narrow view, kind of like a frog in a well, as he puts it, but he eventually chose Amitabha as his ultimate foundation, recognizing its immense power to turn the Dharma wheel and secure peace for this life and the next. However, right after revealing his personal choice, Teacher Lin imparts a really vital piece of objective wisdom. He says, "The methods described are for reference only. Each enters according to their preference. There is no good or bad." And honestly, this is the absolute beauty of his framework. He impartially clarifies that just because he personally chose Amitabha, it definitely doesn't mean it's the best URL for everyone. There's no single path that's inherently superior to another. But that begs the question, if they're all equal, why do we gravitate toward one over the other? Teacher Lin brilliantly synthesizes all of this by introducing the concept of alaya vijnana. Now, this is your foundational storehouse consciousness. Think of it as a massive hard drive that contains every habit, instinct, and piece of wisdom an individual has accumulated over countless lifetimes. According to Lin, the reason you might be drawn to the deep karmic clearing of Ksitigarbha, or the practical earthly healing of the Medicine Buddha, or the ultimate salvation of Amitabha, actually has nothing to do with one being objectively better. It's entirely dictated by the habits already stored in your alaya vijnana. Your consciousness naturally recognizes and prefers the URL it already has a deep affinity for. Teacher Lin Mingsheng has really provided us with a remarkable map today. He's taken ancient texts, translated them into a modern spiritual internet, decoded the crazy cosmic math, and shown us the very real, documented effects of these practices. But the final step? Well, that's entirely up to you. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. When you look inward at your own storehouse consciousness, which spiritual URL will you type into the browser of your life? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks a desire to look deeper into your own natural inclinations. Catch you next time.